music's so beautiful. So, good morning. Welcome to the stream. I just found that song so beautiful. The piano, the rolling piano, is so nice. So I do these streams every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. And it's all written in the box below the video. So what I've come to talk about today, as always, is that beauty which is beyond all things. That freedom beyond all things. That emptiness or that stillness beyond all things. From where all things appear from where all things appear out of, from what all things essentially are. All appearances are that emptiness, are that stillness. All things are nothing. But they appear as things, as form, as appearances, as everything. And what happens in humans is a part of the everything, a form appearing, begins to feel like it is more than just an appearance. It begins to feel like it has some ultimate permanent reality. It begins to feel like it is a static or stable thing that is moving through another thing. And it has the position of an observer of other things. It feels as if it is the subject and it is moving through the world, experiencing life as a separate entity. It feels as if that is the ground, that is the position, the platform. So that's what happened in humans. And then this one is suffering. As it's a lie, it's not true. So what I'm pointing to in these talks is that isn't in form, that which isn't an appearance, that which can't be known, because knowing is another appearance, another form. So that which can't be known by the brain, by the intellect, by the mind, that which is beyond the appearances, the temporary forms. And this is freedom. What is being pointed to and described is freedom. That which allows all forms to appear without preference, without plan, without anything, is freedom. But that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, meaning it isn't in the appearances, it isn't a form, it isn't a thing, it isn't in existence. So it's a pointing to something that isn't a something. And in that, the brain's trying desperately to know that and make it into a form, to grasp that and make it into a form. And that's the frustration of the seeker, the spiritual seeker, trying to bring this message into the personal reality, into the knowable reality. This is the frustration of the seeker that is seeking for something to make itself feel complete and whole and loved. And then we have everything. Everything that is happening. This is the nothing. You can't know nothing. You can't have nothing. It doesn't exist. But there is everything. There is everything. And again, you can't have everything, but everything is. Everything is. That's what this is, everything. It's nothing appearing as everything. But it seems as if there has to be a smothering of this separate someone, this separate seeker. A smothering of it. A real smothering, killing of that separation that happens in humans. So what's being looked for is that nothing, is that emptiness, is that stillness, is that freedom. But then also that love, that completion, that wholeness, which is this. But while there's that seeker, that sense of independent, that sense of you as a separate entity looking, experiencing life, there can't be that everything. Because it will always be a separate experience. It will always be that me and then everything. Me knowing everything. Me seeing everything. So it will always feel not enough. And this is the discomfort that I exist. This is energy in the body of I exist. And that isn't thought of consciously, but it is there. But the brain's not aware of that. The brain's full of its own stories, its own interpretations, its own story of reality. So I can't describe this very well at all. It's impossible to describe. So I just play around with different ways of saying it. But it's like an emptying out of that energy. And then a smothering. Emptying out and a smothering. A smothering of love. Because this is what everything is. Love. It's what you've been longing for, love. But you've been looking for it in things, in objects, in people, in forms, in understanding. And that's not unconditional love. That's temporary. It comes and goes, it changes, always moves. What's being looked for is that place of rest, that freedom, that resting place. And that love, that wholeness. And this is what is called awakening, spiritual awakening, or liberation, enlightenment. Now, that seeking energy in time, keep seeking in the story of you, keep seeking in things, in forms. And it will even take what is being spoken about as something in time. It can only exist in time, in this projection of time. In this moment, what is happening, there can't be anyone existing. It can only exist in a future projection. Only exist in those thoughts, in the mind. There is no problem here. So it will take what is being spoken about and make it fit into time and into me and my story. How can I do this? What is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Who should I listen to? What am I, etc., etc., etc. And why this message is so beautiful is because it's consistently talking beyond that illusion. It's consistently pointing to the freedom that is beyond that you story. But there's been such an addiction to that you story. It's been playing and growing for however old that body is, developing, getting more and more complex, all its twists and turns, all its hidden feelings. But that's what I feel is tasted in these meetings and talks. What's tasted is that freedom, that immediate freedom. But the person can't hide in freedom. Because there's everything here. There's everything. So there has to be a collapsing to everything. And I think for a while there can be a hiding in nothing. Not consciously, but it seems to happen a lot. But there'll be a knock on the door of everything. Everything wants to smother you in love. And you may at first put a toe out, a little toe, a foot. It just smothers you. This love smothers you. Smothers that illusion. And this I would call wholeness. Wholeness. So if you're new to watching me on the stream, I have to explain that not to take my words literally. These words are just describing something that seems to happen. The mind will make them into another thing, another reality. That just happens. But I still say don't. It's what happens. So I've been told that YouTube prefer the chat box to be on. So I might consider putting it on next time. In fact, if you could comment in the box below and say whether you like the chat off, you want it on, whether you don't mind either way. The reason why I turned it off was because I don't like chit chat. I don't like it. I acknowledge that now. I don't like small talk and chit chat. It affects me. It affects my body in some way. So I turned it off. And also I've been to many talks. This to me is a talk. It's online, but it's still a talk. And I've been to many talks over the years, and there's never any chit chat during a talk. The speaker speaks, there's questions asked and responded to, but there's no chit chat in the corner here and this. I just turned it off because it isn't kind of what happens in talks. You don't get chit chat. But I don't mind turning it on, but I won't look at it, but I don't mind turning it on if people want it to be on. And apparently YouTube prefer there to be interaction and that kind of community feel to the two channels on YouTube. So yeah, let me know if you want it on or don't, or whether you don't mind either way. I could do it one day and then one day have it off, I suppose. I could have it on Thursday and have it off on Sunday, maybe. So, yeah. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm online on Skype, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, I'm online. So feel free to now ask any questions you have. Hi, Anne, it's Anne. Lovely introduction. The chat box on would be great. Okay, as I miss what you're saying by having to go backwards and forwards to Skype. What's that mean? The chat box on would be great, as I miss what you're saying by having to go backwards and forwards to Skype. Oh, if you write to me, you mean? I would still require questions to be written through Skype, though. I don't want to have to read the chat box. I find it very uncomfortable for me. I don't like that chit chat. I don't like it. So I would have to still ask questions to be sent through Skype and not through the chat box. So it would still be the same thing, I think, Anne. Yeah. It's more for audience chat, I think, rather than speaker to audience chat. I don't know. I don't like it like that. I tried it for a while before, but it was just too. The questions were all. It was just too much. It was too quick. It was just. I didn't enjoy it. Hi, Lee. Amazing intro. If you prefer chat off, keep it off. Yeah. I think people were saying that they like audiences like to have that ability to mix with each other and to talk and make friends and things. So we could try one day on and one day off, like I thought. So I might try it on Thursday and see. It's not too distracting. But I can hide it on my end, so I should be okay with it being on. Yeah, I'll ignore it, and yeah, we'll see. just looking at my legs. It's just inconceivable. Inconceivable to the mind that this is it. When that story, that train is running of you in time, it's inconceivable that what is being pointed to is what is happening. This is appearing. Is the hi Brian, is the immediacy of seeing what the mind cannot is the immediacy of seeing the mind cannot can't say that word get. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, okay, is the mean. But the immediacy of everything. Everything that is happening, appearing. The mind can only, or thoughts can only label, it can only conceptualize, paint a picture, a concept. It can't get hold of this. It can't have this as a concept. It can try to conceptualize it, and it does, but that's not what's being spoken about. That would be another appearance, another picture, image, idea. This is like a dropping back into what is happening, into the actual experience, and not living anymore in the mind's interpretation or the mind's pictures or the mind's stories, not living in thought. But they're just being what is happening, the direct, immediate human, the direct, immediate environment. What is happening? And the body doesn't end here at the skin. You could say that the body is everything. Like the limit doesn't end here. The way it normally is perceived or agreed upon. So we think the computer is outside of us. So we end here, and then the computer or the lamp or the wall is outside of us. We are the body, the form, and then there is other. But this line of where we end is only an idea. But it's been enforced and become to be the way it feels. But we've just been so used to living in that story. That story's been being predominant. That story of us, that mental image of us, that story train. So used to thoughts. So it's getting back, not getting in touch with, but it seems to happen naturally as part of this awakening, where the thoughts are no longer predominant or no longer in charge, like other, like the body or what is happening, other than just the thinking. The story of who we are. But thank you, Brian. And could you explain a bit more about hiding in nothingness? Not sure what that would be like. I'll try. I'm not sure. Hiding in nothingness. I know that came out earlier, but I don't know what hiding in nothingness. Try and relate back to my own awakening. I don't know, it's like hearing this message of non-duality is so relaxing, like nothing can touch you, nothing can touch you and harm you anymore. If you don't exist, if you aren't somebody, if you don't exist as someone here, then you're free. Nothing can hurt you anymore. And then, so what happens is using the idea to then hide. So uncomfortability happens in any area of life, and you can hide and pretend and say, to yourself, "Oh, there's no one here. This discomfort isn't happening to anyone. It's just happening." There can be a hiding in that idea of non-duality. There can be a hiding to avoid what's happening, to avoid the sensations of discomfort, to avoid unpleasant emotions. You can hide and say it's happening to no one. There's no one here. That's what I mean, I think. And then life has to, or life seems to break that wall you're hiding behind, that concept you're hiding behind. And you want to keep hiding with different concepts and ideas. And it's like life won't let you. Life's like calling you out again, back into everything. So it's been a taste of that freedom beyond things, that place of rest, that place of freedom. But then you can't stay in that. You can't. That isn't. I can now say that isn't full freedom, or that isn't complete. There has to be everything. There has to be life, like the fullness of life. So all the things that the humans are afraid of and been avoiding and trying to escape from, even in non-duality, trying to escape from life, it can't remain like that. And this is what I would call the love part, when the human is really okay to be what it is. When that division between nothing and everything merges, or that collapses, and there's complete unity between everything and nothing. That's the love part. That's the humbling part as well. I think when you are fully human, you have to accept all the good and bad parts about yourself. You can't pretend you're some perfect being, enlightened being. As a human, you can't, because the human isn't enlightened. The human is a human. It's just love. It's just love. It's total love. It's total love. It's really, it's impossible to really describe, but I try. I think I'm always talking about that. Always. Thank you, Anne. And it feels like that's where this passion comes from. This passion is the bridging between the two. I just love it. It's so beautiful, the bridging of both nothing and everything, which aren't really two. But it seems as if for a while you're on the nothing or the fullness side, and that bridging of the two, the middle path, is just I love it so much. I can't even that's where the passion comes from. The bridging of these seeming two. That this is emptiness. This fullness is empty. That this human is empty, but it still appears as human. Beautiful. I'm assuming he's hungry now, so. Any more last minute questions before I go and eat breakfast? Okay, lovers. Oh, oh, lovely. Okay, so I'm back on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Have a good week. I'll see you on Thursday with the chat on, possibly. Okay, bye.